name is Bridget. Welcome to my channel. For today's video, we're going to be talking about sprouting seeds. Now, the process of sprouting seeds is pretty well known. A lot of people like to sprout seeds for themselves where they can put it over their food, especially salads and things. And then there are other people who like to sprout seeds for their animals. There are so many different types of animals that can eat sprouts, but today I'm going to be specifically talking about the sprouts that I make for my parrots. Now, the process of sprouting involves taking a seed or a bean or some other similar item and continuously getting them wet over and over and rinsing and drying to basically make a sprout. It's the same situation as planting something in the ground. Eventually it pops out a little bit to go and stretch those roots, and the sprout is that little tiny bit where it just starts to grow. There are so many nutrients packed within that can really benefit your health and your body. And the same applies for animals, especially animals like birds, because this is what they frequently eat in the wild. They fly around looking for different types of food, and sprouts are something that they have a lot of access to out there. So it's important when you're keeping them in captivity to give them a fresh living component to add into their daily diet. And there are a ton of different methods to sprouting, different types of containers that are specifically designed for sprouting, all sorts of ways to do it, and there's no wrong way, so you can do it however you want to. I just thought that I would share how I do it myself. Now, when you're sprouting these things, whether it be for yourself or for your animals, you can make as many or as little as you want and use them in whatever time frame you want, as long as you're checking on them daily to make sure that there is no mold. Sprouts can last for about 1 to 2 weeks in the refrigerator, but they do start to get a little bit puny and dried out and sometimes turn brown. So just keep in mind when you're making sprouts that freshness does start to go away after a little bit of time. I haven't experienced mold personally, but I do know that mold can happen. So as I said, just continue to watch your sprouts, look at them every single day, make sure there's nothing growing on them, and you should be good to go. But speaking of mold, I do want to mention this. If you happen to sprout radish seeds, you may see a little something that you think is mold, because I definitely thought it was mold when I first saw it. When a radish seed has sprouted, you may start to see these little tiny white hairs along the sprout, and it looks alarmingly similar to the white fuzzy mold that you may see on other items, but this is actually the root's way of stretching out little fibers when they're dehydrated. That's just the root's way of saying, hey, give me some water. So again, sprouts are super important to both you as a human and your animals. I'll definitely have several things linked down below that you can go and follow to see what types of seeds you can sprout or different beans you can sprout. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and get into the video showing you how I sprout seeds for my parrot Sydney. So when choosing your seeds that you're gonna sprout, there are a ton of different types that you can choose, and I'll have all of those linked down below. But what I like to do is order off of Amazon, and it comes from a company called the Sprout House. I think it's like a pack of 12 maybe. I have 6 here. I think it's 10, maybe 12 packs. You can choose whatever seeds that you want and any combination that you want, but I like getting these things just because they're pre-packaged in different variations of seeds, and they just kind of go together so that every week she's still getting her fresh seeds, but it changes up a little bit and I don't have to do so much work in choosing everything. And all of these seeds are perfectly safe. She likes them, so I buy from this company and do it this way, but you can do it however you want. And I think for this week, I'm going to go with this one. So as you can see in this one, this is organic French lentils, organic red lentils, and organic green lentils. That's all this is a bunch of lentils. So now let's talk about the supplies that I use. I just have a standard mason jar here, and the lid is a standard mason jar lid as well, but it has this little bit of screen in there to make sure that I can rinse everything and drain everything nicely. I got this as a pack on Amazon as well. I will have that linked. This little contraption here is just a little stand that I put over a thing of paper towels, and this is what I'm gonna set my jar on when I want it to drain out overnight, or during the day, of course. So then we'll just get started on day 1. The first step is to take your seeds and put however much you want in this jar. I typically do 1 tablespoon, and this will last me 5 days. I don't sprout for an entire week, and I don't sprout for 2 weeks or so. They can last for a while in the refrigerator, but I sprout for exactly 5 days, and when I do a tablespoon, that's about how much sprouts I end up with. So as you can see, I've got a tablespoon of my chosen sprouts, the lentil mix, and I'm just going to toss them right in the jar. Then I'm going to take my lid here and I'm going to close the jar. And you can see that it doesn't fill it up very much. That's okay. I only need a little bit, and I'm going to fill this up with water. So I filled my jar up about halfway. You want to cover about 2 to 3 times the amount of seeds that you put in here with water, and I'm just going to let this soak overnight and do nothing else, and in the morning we will finish the rest. So that is it for day 1. All right, so here we are on the morning of day 2. The seeds have been soaking for about 14 hours. As you can see, they've expanded a little bit. The water has soaked into them nicely, and now we're just going to pour out this water and give these things a rinse about 3 times. Once you get to that very last rinse, you want to just shake as much of the water out as possible and keep it upside down, and we're going to go store it on our paper towel and our little holder. And then they're going to sit here and drain like this for about 8 to 10 hours, and then we'll do the rest this evening. All right, so we're in the evening of day 2. It's been about 8 hours since I rinsed this morning, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at these seeds. So as you can see, not a lot going on, not any kind of sprouting just yet. So these are not quite ready, and we're going to go ahead and give them another rinse for day 2. And once again, after we have rinsed it about 3 times, you want to shake all the water out, keep it upside down, and we're going to prop it back up. All right, there we go. It's propped back up to sit like this overnight, and we'll check it in the morning on day 3 and see if anything sprouted. All right, we're on the morning of day 3, and we have some definite sprouting going on, so let's take a look. As you can see, we have some little tiny baby sprouts happening. At this point, it'd be perfectly safe to feed these to your bird, but I personally like to make them a lot larger and get them to sprout a lot more. So we're gonna go ahead and continue with one more day. Let's give these a rinse. My seeds are there now to drain and sit for the remainder of the day, and we'll do the rest this evening. Here we are in the evening of day 3. You can see there's a lot of nice growth to it. So we're going to give these a rinse, and they'll be ready tomorrow actually. They are back. They're going to sit like this overnight again, and the sprouts will be even bigger in the morning. All right, we are on the morning of day 4. Things are looking nice and sprouted. I'm gonna give this one more rinse, and I'm gonna use some of it for Sydney's food today, and then I'm gonna let it sit for the remainder of the day and put it in the refrigerator tonight. Okay, so I've got Sydney's food cup here with her chop mix and her bird bread. And now I'm just gonna add about half a tablespoon of these sprouted seeds. And there you go, they are sitting on the top. I'm just gonna give this a nice little shake, little mix up. And now this is ready to be served to her. One other thing that I like to do, and I highly recommend doing this, is when I'm getting ready to finish out my sprouts and put them in the refrigerator, I like to give them a quick rinse with apple cider vinegar just to make sure that any kind of mold or anything is prevented. So then I'm gonna go ahead and give my sprouted seeds a rinse with this apple cider vinegar, and then we'll let them sit for the rest of the day. And then we'll go ahead and let those sit for the rest of the day and put them in the fridge tonight. All right, and here we are on the evening of day 4, and these are actually complete. I'm not going to rinse them anymore. I've been letting them sit here and air dry all day. That is one thing that's really important, because when you store them in the refrigerator, if they're still really wet, they're gonna mold faster or just basically go bad faster. So it's better if you let them dry out as much as they can and then put them in the refrigerator, and they'll last you for the amount of time that you're gonna use them. So then here is what I've got. They are still slightly wet, but it's really not a huge deal. If they have a little bit of moisture, they're still gonna do just fine, as long as they're not freshly rinsed when you do put them in the fridge. So I know this doesn't look like much. It's definitely not covering very much of my jar, but this is all I need. Like I said, I only do this for 5 days worth, and this will definitely last me 5 days. And this batch right here took me a total of 4 days. Some batches will be done in 3 days. Some batches won't be done until 5 days. It just depends on what seeds you use, but typically anywhere from 3 to 5 days, you'll get perfect sprouts that your bird wants to eat. So yeah, now let's go put these in the fridge. And this is just my little mini fridge in my animal room, and I'm just gonna put my sprouts right there in the door. Well, all right guys, that's all I have for you today, showing you how I sprout seeds for my bird. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful. Again, all those links will be down below if you wanna figure out different ways that you can sprout, different things that you can sprout, as well as these items that I use for mine. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button on your way out. I really appreciate it. Also hit that notification bell so you can know when I upload next, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!